Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to my overview of the Moschino Stuff Pack livestream by the Sims team. The livestream itself ended up being just over an hour long, so it was quite long, and they went over some build buy items, some of the Create a Sim, and the focus was primarily on the new gameplay aspect of the Stuff Pack, mostly the new freelance fashion photographer career, and the impact on photography in the game. To start with, they took a look at a lot of the new build buy objects, mostly buy objects, I'd have to say, and they looked here at the new bookcase that comes, the different colors. They did that with a lot of the items. I just looked at some of them, and here's the new windows, which will stack if you have like them appropriately depending on the wall height and whatnot. So they said they didn't actually show that. And then just some fun little decorative items that came with the pack, and some of the color swatches of everything, including this new chair and couch, which comes in some plain colors as well as some patterns, and they do match each other, so you can have them out there and matching, which is kind of a nice thing, because some of the packs that doesn't actually happen. So they have the couch and the chair and the coffee table and the end table, and then there's a little stand there, which they do show some of the colors, but I didn't show everything because I didn't want this video to be too long, because as it is already pretty long, because they went over a lot, which you'd expect when it was over an hour for the live stream, and they were very excited about everything in it, and it does look like quite a fun pack. I'm more looking forward to it now than I was before the live stream, primarily because of the new the impact on photography. And this is a fun little thing, this little magazine decor clutter item, which will be nice to put on coffee tables, never mind in a loft, just in someone's house, because, you know, who doesn't have magazines laying around anywhere? So they were just showing that that little gnome was actually on the shelf, put on the shelf, and not actually there to start with. And I do really like this little new mirror that's like a thought bubble mirror, and I can see me putting that particularly in kids' rooms. But and then this new wardrobe thing is actually, you can put your clothes, you can design your outfit and whatnot. Essentially operates as a dresser, and that's a new divider that you can take out and put in, and it has various different color combinations that you can use. And they had that area there as somewhere that, you know, the Sims were to go and change their clothes. I'm not sure how much privacy if they actually, but look, Sims don't need privacy when they're changing their clothes. They only need it when they're showering and doing those things. So it's fine regardless of what it was. And here they're showing the color options of this, or the swatches, I should say, of that item that has the clothing on it. So that probably will get used a lot in people's closets when they're building them. I personally use the closet from Get Together a lot, but it does look like a fun thing. Now, this is not a functional amp, but it does fit well with a guitar, so it'll look nice as a decoration. And then there's this new picture that they had all over this loft that they had built in different color swatches. Now, that was sort of it. I did eliminate a couple of things because I didn't want this to be too long, like I said. So this Sim here was already at the top of the freelance fashion photographer. So she had a lot of options. Plus, she also had maxed her photography skill. So they chose one of the gigs, which was working with a fashion consultant. I can't, but there's all sorts of different ones, even ones that aren't to do with fashion, like it's with kids. They weren't sure about toddlers, but there are other gigs other than just fashion gigs. So the fashion consultant one that they're doing, where you have to chat with the style influencer. The style influencer is a new career work from home career that was patched in earlier this year, so it fits in well with this stuff pack. So she just contacted him, and essentially, in this case, because they had Get Famous, the person was Izzy Fabulous, but it would just be a game-generated person. If you don't have Get Famous, you don't need that to have it work. And that's a little marker thing that you can tell Sims to stand there and then you essentially can direct Sims to where you want them to be when you're going to take the picture. They don't have to be in conjunction with this studio backdrop or the alternative that they show later on. You can take it and place it anywhere so that you can just tell your Sims to go there. Now, she didn't have to hire a Sim, but she chose to hire a Sim, and he actually came I just cut that out. And Mortimer is the who came. So they went in to create a sim with Mortimer to try and take a look at some of the new items, which was mainly they looked at the things for the male sims. So this new outfit here is very bright and whatnot. And they did go over the fact that they had tried very carefully to make sure that they tagged the things that were sort of more, I guess, over the top type items, that sims walking around in the world won't be walking in those particular items. They didn't say specifically which ones they would and which ones they wouldn't, but I got the impression that this would be perhaps one that they wouldn't walk around in the world with. So there's that top and bottom, and it comes in the black and that pattern for the males. And they didn't really show the swatches for a lot of the clothes. This was the one they kind of focused on, and those new boots that he has on. And then they also showed the new earrings, which were they had to get rid of the masculine tag to show them the new plumb bob earrings. I could probably see me using those a little bit. And then they show the hairs that come with it, which they haven't. They're still back to showing those earrings, the different colors of the earrings, I guess, which comes in all the different colors, which your sims can be depending on their moods. And they do afterwards show the hairs. There are 2 male hairs that come with it. This particular one, that is what they end up leaving on Mortimer, and then this other one that's long, which is also a female hairstyle. And then to show the female hairstyles, they just get rid of the masculine flag and show the 2 after they sort of showed some of the colors and how it looks with the different colors with that short hair. But they did not go over the female Create a Sim items other than these couple that they showed on Mortimer. Here's this new hair, which I can see me probably using that on females more likely. And I like that new curls too. I could see that being fine perhaps on a male. I don't really know. But anyways, they put them back to there, and they essentially said, the game changers will be showing it later on, and you can see more when they do it. And so this new object is essentially what they did is in Get to Work, there's like the one item and everything's together. They essentially broke it up, and the backdrop obviously has different colors you can use with it, but the lights are all draggable, as is the tripod that you put your camera on. It's draggable into that you can move it around live mode draggable, and you can put it into your inventory and take it with you and take pictures wherever you want. Same with, I believe, the lights and obviously the camera. So that they're just showing some of the different options there are for the background with that. And then once they finished with that, they show that there is an alternative that is also, they're showing it in build mode, so they bring it out because that's where they got it from. But when they go into live mode, they can actually move the things around, so you can actually in live mode move these shells that are here, but the lights were in the way. And they essentially end up doing that in live mode. So here we are in live mode, and you can see that they are going to move it, which I found quite interesting and good. That is kind of nice that you don't have to like go into build mode to move things around when you're trying to set up for your pictures if you're wanting to use this. And they obviously attach together, and they have different backdrops just like the other one did, but these backdrops are a little different because when you go into they're in live mode right now, but when you hit play, they'll be sort of active. Like this one has lights going on it, and the different ones do different things. So they're not static. They have like a movement to them, which you may or may not like, but it's just another thing that they do with this. But so they just were showing some of the different ones, including this particular one was kind of funny. So when you attach them to other ones, they are essentially seamless. You can't really see that it wasn't one big piece. They go across it regardless. And then I think I kind of like that one that they don't actually show it fully, the garden, the woodsy one, and then they put it back to the red carpet. That's the red carpet is what that one is. And then we do the take a picture. So we have the camera is on there already, but you can drag the camera off the tripod, And one thing about the tripod that they went over is that the tripod essentially makes it so that you are never going to have blurry pictures, you're never going to have gnomes, and you're never going to have thumbs in the pictures. You're going to essentially, it'd be like you maxed your photography skill even without having maxed photography skill. You can also freely move when you're on the tripod. You can freely move the camera, sort of like as if you're in tab mode when you're in live mode, so that you can move things around. So I kept a lot of this screen, this in, so that you can sort of see it in action. You can, and this particular camera has a bigger, the one that comes with the pack lets you go in and zoom out further than some of the ones that are already in the game. And if you notice, like, they have the filters, and we already have that, and you can change the size with the more expensive camera. That's the same. You can change the rotation, which is the same. That's a base game item with the photography skill and with the cameras. But the size depends, like I said, on the camera itself. But there are poses. You can see the bottom sort of left underneath the filters. You can cycle through that, which they aren't doing there. They're just having him still. They go to that later. But see, you could see it. You can go sort of up. They showed the nose, which I'm beyond now. But here we're going to do some of the poses. And you can do that. So you don't have to go out and come back in. And because of that, you actually have 10 pictures you can take when you're on the tripod. I'm not sure I think this is tied into the tripod, all these poses and whatnot. So, but like I said, the tripod itself is movable into your inventory and you can take it with you. And they do actually show that in action later, which I have some footage of that too. So they were having fun. I cut out some of it. There was so much, but I'm really looking forward to having this and a couple of lots where I have wedding venues set up. I'm planning on trying to set something up for doing wedding photos, like of couples and stuff like that, because you don't just have to have one sim and there'll be some shots later. You can have up to 3 sims. You can have and you don't have to use the little spots that were earlier. You can just do it with the tripod and the camera. But if you have the little spots, you can sort of essentially specify where the sims are. I'm guessing that's a little bit similar to how the pose mods work, but I don't use pose mods. So this is going to be really good for me because I don't. So it'll be nice to be able to get more pictures. And all these funny. And some of them are new poses, but some of the poses are already in the game. It's just that you can't filter through them. And the Sims essentially would have to be in those moods to be able to get the pictures, because they had things like flirty and excited and gloomy, or essentially in default, just various different ones that they have there. And when you hover over, it'll tell you what they are, the little icons. And so here they put another little spotlight out, and they asked the sim that they did control to come over here versus they hired Mortimer to come and do that. So this shows you doing it with 2 sims. So they have take picture of the 2 of them, and again you have the option of doing the different poses too. But so there we go, and he was already dressed, and they did this. No, it was funny because they took Mortimer in and they were planning on having him be the fashion subject, but they had to take formal pictures, but they changed Mortimer's everyday clothes, so it didn't actually count. So later on they changed their guy into formal and do the pictures for him, just to sort of see how the fashion photography progresses, because essentially, like any of the freelance careers, you'll get the daily tasks and you have to go and essentially do them. So they did the one where they contacted the style influencer, and then this started as being they taking fashion photos, and then they switched over. So here yesterday I did an update of the an overview of the update, and I didn't notice that with the frames you could actually update them. You don't have to remove them and change the color. But this new frame here with the 3 is a new feature with the Stuff Pack, which I know I'm going to use. So you can put 3 pictures in there. So that's going to be really fun for family photos. You don't need to be into fashion photography, and that has different colors of the frame. So I like this, like that. And this is also a fun one where it's a digital frame, and they have a landscape and a portrait mode. And you would put some landscape pictures into the landscape one's inventory, and then portrait into the portrait. They do share inventory, like they have a bunch of landscape and a bunch of portrait on there, and the portrait shares with all the other portrait ones on the lot, and the landscape does the same. But if you want them to sort of try and show different pictures, you can adjust the speed. So you can see there was 1 hour, 3 hour, whatnot. So if you have them adjusted to different times, and they hopefully wouldn't come up at the same time if you have multiple pictures in there. So here what they did is they showed how it works in live mode, and she did put down by placing in the world the little spot mark and the tripod. The tripod doesn't matter where it's facing, like it looks like it's actually facing us and not where she wants to take the picture, but it's fine. It'll let you take the picture in the way you want it to be. And then she put the camera on it because, of course, they're out in the neighborhood. You can't actually drag it. You have to have the sim put it on and again take it off. So she took a picture of him on that subject, on that mark, and so it looks like she's facing us, but when it comes up, she actually shows us taking the picture. And this is in Del Sol Valley. They just did that because they thought the views were really nice. You obviously don't have to do this. You can do this anywhere in whatever world you want to be in. And if you're the photographer, you can take pictures with other people, but not using the mark. The mark is only for other sims, not the photographer. And so they're just showing, again, the whole feature. Very fun. Like I said, I'm very excited for this. And it's made me really want this pack, but there's more. But here we got. So here we're going to do the take a picture with. So she's going to take a picture with him, and she sets it all up, and then she goes over, but they're not over there. They're going to go where the camera is facing in this case. And there they are, and they have touching poses so they can be touched. And this is where it'll probably be good for wedding pictures, especially if you have it not in the world and you can actually place it and focus it. Otherwise, you'll have to get them to take it out and put it in again. But luckily, they had a decent backdrop where they were. They didn't do any romantic ones. So that's kind of fun. Lots of different options. I don't know whether perhaps modders might add more poses to this to essentially fit in with this skill. And now we have take a picture carrying. You can take pictures with toddlers now. So, and it would be, you'd say take a picture carrying like they did. They brought some more sims on the lot. And there we go. Just different poses. And in the background is one that was done already before. And so there's the same pose, which is a really cute pose. And then we can take a picture with pets if you have cats and dogs. And it can be both sizes of dogs and also with cats. They had a little bit of an issue with the big dog. Took a little while, but that's out. And so first off, we get one with the cat, and the cat's like, what's going on here? Which is quite funny. So you can get pictures with your pets, which is another fun thing. But again, like I said, you do need cats and dogs for that. But I mean, I would think that would be reasonable and nice for people who have cats and dogs to be able to get those pictures. And the cat's big eye. So hilarious. And then they decided to do one with the dog, and they did a few shots, but I just sort of showed the one. They just went through and sort of arranged it how they wanted, and I like that shot in particular. And after they did that, they contacted Izzy Fabulous, Meet with the Style Influencer, who happened to be Izzy Fabulous. And when he came over, what you get when you get the style influencer coming over, you get essentially an event that you need to do, which they didn't really do much of it. They just did some of it. And just for fun, they showed with 3 people on the marks. And the marks themselves, when you're taking the picture, they disappear. So that's kind of a good thing when you're trying to take your pictures, if you have them happen to get in the screenshot. So just to sum up some of the active items in the pack. First off, we get the freelance fashion photographer career. We get the tripod, which is a separate thing, which makes the pictures much better quality and gives you more options when you're taking pictures than with just a regular camera on its own. And of course, those fashion markers, so you can direct sims where you want them to be when you're taking the pictures. There were the 2 types of backdrops, one that was just sort of static and the other one that had some movement in it. Of course, with that tripod, along with getting better quality pictures. We got more options with respect to new poses, and we can take them with toddlers and pets. Of course, the latter requires cats and dogs. That new frame that holds 3 photos, and the new digital frame, as well as they mentioned there is going to be a new photography skill book. I think those were the main things that I picked up on in the live stream. That's quite a lot. And of course, we got the regular, some build buy stuff and some Creatism, which they didn't go over too much with that. But the game changers are going to have their information, their streaming, and their videos content from the pack. Again, as a reminder, releases Monday, August 12th at 8 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to see more about it, you can see it there. And I'll be back with an overview of the pack itself on Wednesday because I will get it Tuesday. And speaking of it, the pack comes out on Tuesday, August 13th on PC Mac. It usually releases at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm used to Eastern because that's the time zone I'm in. And on console, it comes out on September 3rd. So let me know if you're interested in this pack, and if so, what is it about it that makes you interested in it? I wasn't initially that interested in it, but the changes with the photography have made it something that I really would like to have in my game now. But that's going to be it for this overview. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye! This has been Jennifer. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I'd love to see them. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more videos of challenge, let's plays, tutorials, and occasional speed builds, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks very much!